Hello YouTube, Dave here again. I'm back with another bonus weekend video, and today I thought I would just show some of the things that I picked up in the last few weeks. There's really not a whole lot here. I've already shown some of the bigger things in previous videos, like picking up the NES Classic Edition or the box that Paizo sent me with the Starfinder Adventure, the Reach of Empire, and the Armory book. So I'm not going to rehash those or tread those back out. But there are a couple of other things that I picked up in the last little bit, so I thought, may as well, again, just do a quick video, upload it on the weekend, because this week coming up is going to be the week that I'm getting ready for HalCon, and it may be sort of a hectic and busy week. So the first thing I thought I would show off is the thing that I've had the longest since my last pickup video, and that I've just been sitting in the same bag that I got from, the store that I bought it from since, well, I guess it's been a couple weeks now, going back to the Canadian Thanksgiving weekend. But what it is it's the Endless Quest book for the Cleric. So this is Into the Jungle. I previously picked up the Fighter book, which I think was Escape from the Underdark, and I got the one for the Wizard. Now the Wizard book I actually ended up giving to my daughter, and she really liked it and wants to get some more of these, which I think is great. I haven't read this at all, unfortunately, but this takes place in Cholt. And again, there's just some really nice art in here. So pick that up. I do want to rebuy the Wizard one for myself, as well as to get the Thief one. I do want to get at least the first series of these. So something again that's on my radar, but this was there, so I thought I'd pick it up. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the second issue, coincidentally enough, of Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons. So this is, I think it's supposed to be a four or five part series, and yeah, the first one was pretty amazing in terms of a lot of the references and stuff that they had to older Dungeons and Dragons books, modules, things of that nature, and this one here, it actually takes them a while to get back into the D&D world, so to speak. But it's still really cool, a really cool comic. I can't wait to get the rest of the series. I think there's just a lot of interesting stuff in here. Not as many references or callbacks, at least overtly so, compared to the first issue, but still pretty cool nonetheless. And the alternate covers are way reduced. So there were like 4 total instead of having about 30. So that's the second thing. The last thing that I picked up, I actually just picked up earlier today, as in when I'm recording this, so probably a couple days before I finally get to upload it. But this is a set of coasters based off of cover art for some Super Nintendo boxes. So this was at EB Games, which is the Canadian version of GameStop, and it was $10, which to me isn't a bad price. You get 4 total, and they're just really cool. My fiance and I have been playing a lot of the NES Classic Edition lately, and really getting into some of those older games, which are they're just a ton of fun. So this one here, I already have it open because this box is incredibly tight and difficult to deal with. So I probably won't be putting these back in there, if I can even get this one to come out. But I haven't even taken them out of the wrapper yet, so I thought I would do that in this video. So what's really cool about these, like I said, they emulate the box art almost perfectly. Like, this is just really cool. I will probably use these less as coasters and more as just sort of like decorative pieces, but I think that they're really awesome. So of the 4 games that they have in here, 3 of them were staples of my childhood. So let's just go ahead and see if we can get this open. Their cellophane even is really tight, so let me just see what I can do here. Now the backs are just cork, right? So they're not. It would have been actually really cool had they have made the backs of the coasters actually have like the image as well. But the point of the coaster is to be like non-slip, so having the surface on it have stuff on it would defeat that purpose. But it's still really, really cool. And see if I can. There we go. So here we have Super Mario World, and the interesting thing about having this one is that Super Mario World, to the best of my knowledge, this kind of box didn't actually exist in North America. Super Mario World was packaged with the Super Nintendo for pretty much its entire lifespan, with the exception of like the Donkey Kong Country one, and there was like the Killer Instinct version, but there were other ones that had games packed in as well, like Star Fox, and Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, and there were all kinds of these other ones, but they were basically, it was like a sticker that was added to the original packaging, and Super Mario World was in there. So like stores had copies of like this box art. They'd have like a physical box, but I don't think it was until they did the the Player's Choice, if that even had a Player's Choice. But it's still really, really cool. It even has a little blurb here. You know, explore 9 worlds and 96 levels of non-stop action. The funny thing about that is there's not actually 96 levels. There are 96 exits throughout the levels that are provided in the game. But anyway, still really, really cool. This game was a major, major part of my childhood. So definitely glad that this one's here. And like I said, this will be more like a decorative piece than probably an actual coaster. And then up next, we have Super Mario Kart. So it says where racing becomes an adventure. So I had the Player's Choice million copies sold box version. And it's always funny because I watch a lot of like retro game collecting stuff, and all these people that are, you know, serious collectors, or not all of them, but a lot of them say that they hate the Player's Choice because it's like a reissue and stuff like that. But you know, the Player's Choice versions typically, as far as I know, have less of them out in production, so they're technically rarer than the original versions, because I mean, to be a Player's Choice, they would have had to have sold over 1 million copies. Whereas, you know, anyway, it's just one of those weird things. But I actually remember one of my fondest memories actually with Super Mario Kart was we rented it Christmas weekend when I was, well, this was back in like 1992, so this was quite a while ago. It was shortly after it came out anyway, and I remember that year for Christmas, I slept down in the basement. So our basement was fully finished, and it had, I'm just going to set that right there while I work on this, and I guess tell a little bit of a story. So our basement was fully finished, and that's where there was like a 13-inch TV, and my Super, I guess it was more than a 13-inch, it was like a 15-inch TV or something like that, but my Super Nintendo was hooked up to it. So we rented Super Mario Kart, and I just remember playing that way late into the night because I couldn't sleep. And the next morning when I woke up, you know, opened up Christmas presents, stuff like that, that's when I got my copy of Super Mario All-Stars. But as much as I loved getting Super Mario All-Stars, it's funny, one of my biggest memories is just playing Super Mario Kart until, like, you know, late at night. So yeah, absolutely love that game. Played it a bunch on the Super Nintendo Classic Edition, and it was also one of the first games that I downloaded for the Wii Virtual Console. So I just love this game to death. It's still my favorite version of Mario Kart, even though it's the one that people say held up the worst. I still absolutely adore this game. So glad to have that coaster as well. So up next is Super Metroid. And I don't have really childhood memories of this game. I never rented it, or if I did, I rented it once and just got completely lost. But with it was again one of the first games that I downloaded on the Wii Virtual Console. I think it was like the second or third thing that I downloaded. So it was like the first thing I remember. The first thing that I downloaded was Ogre Battle 64, and with the money that was left over, I got Punch Out, I think was that, and then I got Super Metroid along with something else. I can't remember what the other game was actually, but Super Metroid. I actually finally beat this game after getting it on the Super NES Classic, and I've gone back and I've played it a couple of times actually. So I've beaten it a couple of times now, and trying to get into a decent time so that I can actually see the good ending sort of thing. So again, this is really, really cool. Love this game. Recently downloaded the Metroid Prime Trilogy for the Wii U, and so this is again something that's really, really cool to have. And of course, even though you already saw it, saving this for last, this is the Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. I never had the box for this when I was growing up. I bought my copy of Link to the Past from a yard sale for like $10. But this is, I've got, a display with all of my Zelda games and my N64 Ocarina of Time. So this will probably go up with that, but this is, again, really, really cool. So as far as coasters go, this is sort of not much of a gloss on it. It just kind of feels like the paper. There's a little bit of shine to it, but not much. So I wouldn't want to be setting glasses on this, truth be told. Just because you get like condensation and stuff like that on it. But really, really happy to have these. And again, as soon as I saw this a while ago and just didn't have the money for it. But this past time I was out, I had to get it because just such a nostalgic thing for me. And again, I think these are going to make really, really cool, just little display pieces. So that's the main reason that I ended up buying them. I'd love to see more of this stuff actually. There was a Legend of Zelda, like the original NES game, the gold cart, and it was like a drinking flask. And I haven't seen that in a while, but I would love to get that as well. Anyway, sort of a blast from the past, and I guess sort of a look back at my childhood memories with the Super Nintendo. But really, really glad to have those. And that's pretty much it for now. So there may be, probably I'll have a second video just with some other things that I picked up in the weeks coming up. I know I've got the other two parts of the Starfinder adventure already set aside for me, just waiting for my ad revenue to come in, and I'll be picking those up, and then I'll be going to HalCon, so I'll be taking some money with me to that as well. Anyway, I just want to thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and hey, if you have any childhood memories of some of these really awesome games, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear some of your childhood gaming stories. So anyway, again, thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Take care.